The United States Space Force is no longer just a futuristic idea. It has become a fully active and rapidly expanding branch of the American military, and in recent weeks it has turned into one of the most watched and discussed defense topics in the United States. The reason is simple. For the first time in history, space is being openly treated as a potential battlefield, and Americans are now seeing clear signs that national security has moved beyond Earth. The U.S. Space Force is the sixth branch of the U.S. Armed Forces, officially established in December 2019. Its primary mission is to protect American interests in space. This includes safeguarding satellites, military communications, missile warning systems, navigation networks like GPAs, and space-based defense technologies. Unlike NASA, which focuses on exploration and scientific research, the Space Force exists purely for military purposes. Its personnel are known as Guardians. The Space Force has recently drawn major attention after its members graduated from basic training wearing their own official service dress uniforms for the first time. Until now, many Space Force personnel used Air Force uniforms. This public unveiling of a distinct uniform symbolized the service's full independence and identity. Images and videos of the new uniform spread widely across American media and social platforms, making it one of the most talked about military stories in the country. Another reason this news is getting massive attention is the Space Force's increasing focus on preparing for potential conflict in space. Recent reports and investigations reveal that the United States is now conducting large-scale space warfare simulations. These exercises prepare Guardians for scenarios such as satellite interference, electronic jamming, missile detection, orbital surveillance, and defensive responses to hostile actions in space. The message is clear: space is now officially considered a combat domain, alongside land, sea, air, and cyber. Rising global tensions have also pushed the Space Force into the spotlight. U.S. defense officials have openly warned that countries like China and Russia are developing advanced anti-satellite weapons and space-based interference systems. Such technologies could disable satellites that control GPS navigation, global communications, weather forecasting, banking systems, and military coordination. A successful attack on space infrastructure could disrupt daily civilian life worldwide within minutes. The Space Force exists largely to deter such attacks and respond if they occur. On a daily basis, the Space Force is responsible for protecting thousands of American satellites orbiting Earth. These satellites are essential for navigation, intelligence gathering, secure communications, and missile warning systems. Space-based sensors operated by the Space Force can detect missile launches anywhere on Earth within seconds, providing early warnings against ballistic or nuclear attacks. The service also tracks more than 20,000 objects in orbit, including satellites and space debris, to prevent collisions or suspicious activity. Some of the Space Force's most important missions remain classified. One of the most well-known examples is the X-37B spaceplane, an unmanned reusable spacecraft that can remain in orbit for extended periods while performing secret operations. These missions demonstrate that the Space Force is already conducting advanced activities far beyond what the public can see. Many people confuse the Space Force with U.S. Space Command, but they are not the same. The Space Force is a military service like the Army or Navy, responsible for organizing, training, and equipping personnel. U.S. Space Command, on the other hand, is a combat command that plans and oversees space operations. The two work closely together but serve different roles. The Space Force also plays a major role in international cooperation. It leads multinational exercises that bring together dozens of allied countries to share satellite data and coordinate space security efforts. These exercises show that space defense is no longer a national issue alone but a global concern. The budget of the Space Force continues to grow as the United States invests in advanced satellites, artificial intelligence systems for space monitoring, missile defense technologies, and partnerships with private space companies. Long-term plans confirm that space defense capabilities will expand well into the next decade. Americans are watching this development closely because modern life depends heavily on space technology. If satellite systems fail, GPA stops working, flights are disrupted, banking systems freeze, internet and mobile networks collapse, and military defenses are weakened. Space is now directly connected to everyday civilian life. In summary, the U.S. Space Force has moved beyond its experimental phase and is now fully operational. Space is officially recognized as a potential war zone. New uniforms symbolize the service's independence, global threats have increased urgency, and satellites have become the backbone of modern civilization. The Space Force represents a new era of defense, where the battlefield is no longer limited to Earth, but extends far beyond it.